Mike, welcome to the show. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to you as well.
Mike, I was just looking at your effort at the last election. You got over 15, almost 15,500 votes personally, more than the party did at the last election. And I commented at the last election that you'd have to be almost mad to vote National because the party was killing itself with its leaks, its leadership changes, its coups and stuff like that, the lack of discipline, basically. It must have been very dispiriting for you 3 years ago while you're out there running the National Party line.
No, look, to be honest, I don't spend too much time reflecting on what has been because, that's in the rear vision mirror. My main focus is now in the party is what's directly in front of us and just focus on getting out and talking to people about the things that actually matter. So, very different beast now, and it's, it's got very real for a lot of people very, very quickly. And so we've got to just keep our focus on talking to them about the things that matter.
Mike, I didn't ask that question. I asked 3 years ago. I will come to your candidacy now and going on the future. It must have been very dispiriting. You're trying to be elected. It was a National Party seat. As I remember, Kieran McAnulty won it by 6,500. Why did he win the seat by 6,500 at the last election?
Oh, look, I think there was a whole set of circumstances were pretty unique at that particular point in time in that election. And look, it is what it is. And like I say, this is a very different set of circumstances now. So that's where our focus is.
I understand that, but a man who doesn't understand what the past is about hardly is going to be able to discern the future, Mike. Moving on.
Look, as you would well know, you look in the rear vision mirror and you reflect, and looking back, you go, well, what do we do different now? And so this time round, we're very united, we're very motivated, and look, we're just very, very different.
There you are. That wasn't hard to say, was it? No, that's exactly that's exactly all I asked you to do was go, here, join the dots. Why are we almost 40% in the polls now? Why last time were we not anything near it? And you've just talked about party unity. You do seem more unified as a party to me. Your discipline is much better.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And because this is, as I say, it's about being focused on the things that actually matter. Stay out of the gutter. Talk about the things that are really important because it's got really real, really quick for a lot of people.
Now, you are up against Kieran McAnulty. One of the reasons your seat is so, I think a lot of people will be looking on election night, and particularly your constituency, is because this is a real contest between the two of you. You stood last time, you did very well, really. You're a farmer too, as I understand it. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, sheep and beef farmer. I've been farming all of my life.
Well, tell me about the Wairarapa seat, because Masterton, I imagine, is in the middle of it, but it must go a long way to pick up 50-odd thousand people. What are the boundaries of your area?
Oh, look, it's a big electorate, and it starts right down the bottom. You come over the Rimatuckers, and that's where the Wairarapa electorate starts, and it goes right up to, including Waipawa in the north.
Oh, you're in Waipawa.
East. Yeah, and then it heads east just below Otani and sort of heads out just about, about half an hour north of Paronga out.
Oh, so you pick up a fair bit of Central Hawke's Bay as well?
Yes, we do. Yes, Southern Hawke's Bay and Central Hawke's Bay. Yes.
So is Waipuck in as well as Waipawa or just Waipawa?
Yes, no, Waipuck out as well, yes.
Oh, yes, so that does make it interesting because your major population centres then are what? Masterton, Waipukarau, Waipawa. Carterton is big now, is it?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of towns. You've got Featherston, Martinborough, Greytown, Carterton, Masterton, Ekatahuna, Paiatua, Woodville, Dennyville,
that's right.
Waipukarau, Waipawa.
Mate, that's some seat. And just, I'm not going to ask you to be critical or not. But I'm just thinking, if you get in, you've got some serious travel involved to offer constituency services over that geographic area, haven't you?
Yeah, look, and that's just the reality. And look, again, it is what it is. We're very fortunate in the respect that my wife and myself, through our family and her family, have got a lot of connections all through that electorate from the top to the bottom. So we've got a lot of connections throughout. But look, it is challenging, and but that's primarily your role or your function, is to get out and listen to people and just engage.
You're a sheep and beef farmer, did you say?
Yes, I am.
Tough times at the moment because it's almost not worth sharing a sheep anymore, and commodity prices are where they are. What do you see as and then you've got the whole emissions trading scheme and stuff like that coming your way as well.
Look, I think the primary sector, and I am worried about the primary sector at the moment in the respect that because it's not just the sheep and beef sector, it's the forestry sector.
Yeah.
Sheep and beef and the dairy sector are facing significant headwinds at the moment. And look, there's no way to sugarcoat it. The commodity prices have fallen off a cliff a little bit, and that's particularly in the sheep and beef sector. That's unprecedented at this time of the year. Normally the schedules are rising. We have, and forgive me for using the analogy, but it's almost like a perfect storm. We've had a lot of storm damage right up through the whole electorate, and so infrastructure is challenged, access is challenging, and so the primary sector are dealing with those issues, falling commodity prices, significant pressure in terms of cost structure, which is interest rates, and also just your general farm working expenses. And then on top of that, overlaid over all of that, you've got all the legislation that's sitting there parked up. And I sit there and say, well, that's how the old possum feels when he's sitting in the middle of the intersection and there's a car coming each way. Yeah. And of course, why I talk about the primary sector is that large part of this electorate revolves around it, because it's not just the farmers. There's a lot of people in our towns that contribute to what is grown on those farms, and that's your mechanics, your electricians, all those people, and the farmers grow the product. But then there's also people, when it exits the farm, that add value to it and contribute until it leaves our shores to earn that export income. So there are certainly some challenges coming our way in provincial New Zealand, and of course by default the greater economy.
Yeah, I mean, in a funny sort of way, it's a good election to lose, but I mean, you don't want to think like that, I know, but yes, I mean, the economic environment you go into over the next, 18, 24 months is going to be as tough as it's been, I think, since the early 1990s. Yeah,
look, without a doubt, and so that's why we've just got to be just relentlessly focused on the things that matter, and that is wants versus needs. It's on fiscal discipline. Our debt's gone from 5.4 billion to a bit over 100 billion. So it is about being very, very focused on what we spend, where we spend it, and how we spend it, and about what the outcome is. Because success is not defined by how much you can spend on something. It's actually defined on the outcome you achieve.
Okay. Now, the other thing, though, is, given that's the environment, and you would have seen the preview, not yesterday, the day beforehand, can you still afford tax cuts?
Yeah, absolutely. We're confident that we can deliver those. And look, at the end of the day, what we refer to as the squeeze middle, it's those people that get out of bed and go to work that are really, really struggling. Why wouldn't you try and provide a little bit of relief to them?
But to do that, you are going to have to make sure you reduce government expenditure in other areas to make sure that money is there for them. What areas of government expenditure do you identify currently as wasteful?
Look, you've obviously heard Nicholas speak about that. Look, we're confident in our plan. It's been sense checked, and I come back to our aim or our motivation is to try and provide a little bit of relief to those people that are really, really struggling.
All right, but I'll give you an example of that. We had, and you'd be aware of it too, I'm sure, as well, Mike. We had the chief executive of Waitomo, the petrol people, and him saying that the emissions trading scheme is going to add 15 to 20 cents a litre additional to the price of petrol and diesel now prior to Christmas as that feeds through. So you're going to be facing some significant cost of living pressures immediately should you be elected in a month, yeah?
Yeah, look, they're there now anyway, the cost of living pressures, the inflation. A large part of that is excessive spending, which feeding into the economy. But look, in terms of some of the redistribution or reallocation of expenditure, I mean, an example I quite often use is between Masterton and Featherston on the state highway, NZTA want to put in 21 raised pedestrian crossings. for a cost of $9 million. And I'll save you the calculator, it's about $428,000 each. They want to slow our roads down from 100 to 80. And you think about the implications, the economic implications for that, because we all know about paying the piper. If it takes longer to convey our goods from A to B, someone's got to pay the cost of that. So it's about getting those priorities right.